Us are in the Zoom room here. Okay, so settle down. I can still hear you not settling. Stop it. Okay, thank you. All right, so the mountain logo. I still hear voices. Let's not, please. I just need like 2 seconds. Thank you. That's good. Okay, so the mountain logo video is intentionally one that I picked that is a little bit more challenging. I wanted to see how you guys would handle following some instructions on things that you were not used to. So this is me saying, you guys did an excellent job following something given a challenge that you were not expecting. That is a huge skill in graphic design. Even if you guys weren't aware that you were being challenged necessarily, you took it in stride. And everybody I'm seeing from what I'm observing just off your screens, you did it super well. So now what I want to show you to avoid falling into this trap in the future when you're following tutorials from other people, or you are just trying to learn something new with these programs, let me show you some things that you can be aware of that will make your life a little bit easier. So let me pull up my project 1.1. I'll show you how to export these while we're here as well, if you're ready to do it at this point. After I finish showing you how to export in some of these tools, we'll start talking about the logo project, spoiler alert, which is the next thing that we're gonna be doing. All right, so let's say I'm working in my, by going to Window and Workspace, and I've made sure that I'm in Adobe's provided Essentials Classic, which is great, all lovely. But I'm following a tutorial and they mentioned something like the Pathfinder tool and I can't find it. Anytime a tutorial or a walkthrough or anything mentions a tool that you cannot see, you go up here to the Window tab, the same place that we checked for Essentials Classic. And if you click on that, that gives you every tool that Adobe Illustrator has to offer in alphabetical order. You can see that only a handful of them are checked in the Essentials Classic workspace. That's because this is just focused on the essential tools. But if you wanted something specific, like your brushes, it's because it's not open. It might be on the panel, but it's not open. By clicking on Window and then the tool you're trying to find, like gradients, for example, it'll do one of 2 things. It will either open that panel on your screen if it's closed. So like, let's go into attributes here. Attributes is not a panel that's up by default. So when I click on attributes, it opened up another window that I can close or open as I see fit. Okay. So that's the second thing that's going to happen, like with the Pathfinder tool. When you click on the Pathfinder tool, it opens it in this separate little window like this, right? There's a third secret thing that comes with this window checkmark system. That's in case you ever close a panel you don't mean to. So let's say you're trying to vectorize something. Let me get rid of my Pathfinder. I don't need it for this example. Let's say I'm trying to vectorize something and, crap, I closed my layers panel. I can't find it. I can't click on it. It's going to be in Window, in alphabetical order. There's layers right there. When you click on it, it should reopen it in its original spot, and then you'll be right back to the races, finishing up your whatever project you're trying to follow. So just keep in mind, if you're following an online tutorial, which is the occasion, like if we ever have a sub and you guys are finished with your project, I'll have you look for a tutorial to follow, or you're just curious about trying new things with these programs you have access to. Window holds all of the tools that Adobe Illustrator has to offer. All right, so there is a Zoom room from last Friday talking about how to arrange these for export. I saw some of you guys already getting it together, or putting it together, I mean. That kind of came out wrong, I apologize. But prepping it for export for submitting to Canvas. So if you need a refresher, I'm going to walk you through the export for screens process. You start by going up here to File, and then click on the word Export, and you're going to get 3 options appear on the side. We're going to click on Export for Screens, which is going to pop up with our Export for Screens dialog box. So if you had multiple artboards, if you were making multiple designs, let's say for a, like you were working merch on a shirt press, you'd have a couple different shirt designs, the front, the back, the patches, whatever, all on their own separate artboard, okay? That's what would appear here, but we only have the one for this purpose. The biggest things that you guys need to focus on is this folder button right here. So if you're following along with me and you've gone File, Export, Export for Screens, you want to look for this folder icon. This folder icon is going to ask where you want your final design to be exported. So if I go back to my 2023 OneDrive folder, 23, 24, semester 2, 6th period graphic design. And I'm just going to click on select folder once I've achieved the destination that I'm trying to reach here. So click select folder, nothing changes. There's these two check boxes right here. You want to try, this is not required, but if you check this open location after export, when you click on export artboard to finish it out, it's going to pop open that folder automatically so you can check your work. So for example, if I click export artboard like this, nothing happens except this green box that says export for B. Blakeney period 8, project 1. Blah, 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 pops up. So if I go to that destination folder, 6th period graphic design, I should have this file right here that says artboard 1, which has my work on it, which is much easier to see on the projector than in the Zoom room because it's exported only the artboard space. What you can also do is go file, same process, export, export for screens, click on the folder to choose your destination, then click select folder. And then we're going to check the open location after export box. You can also double click right here. You can also double click right here to rename your artboard. We'll call this export example. And then just hit enter. When I click on export artboard, the file window that it lives in is going to pop up. I'm going to look for export example, which is right here. And it's the same PNG that we just baked from raw dough into a nice project 1.1 cake to send to Mr. Blakeney for enjoyment, right? Again, all of that is recapped in Friday's Zoom room. So you can watch this one or that one to see how to export things, as well as how to create this arrangement. What I want to do now is switch gears, because this is due on midnight tonight with the extended deadline. So you want to work on finishing that today. We're going to talk a little bit about the next assignment or the next project, which is logos. Let me see if I had my logo thing pulled up. One second. Okay. So I'm just going to close Illustrator for now, because an important part, I'm going to just click yes to save just to be safe. I don't remember what I changed, but it is important to change it. When I say the word logo, what do you guys think of? I want to hear some examples. There's no wrong answers. I just want to hear your input. Zahed, what's up? Company's logo. Company's logo is a really big one. What else are you guys thinking when you hear the word logo? Yeah. Merchandise, yeah. Specifically, I like brands. What else? What about mascots? Do those technically count as logos? What about, what else has logos? Does it have to be an image? Or can it be words? Can it be anything? Pretty much. So, logos is one of the most important aspects of becoming a graphic designer. It's going to be a lot of where your work comes from. It's going to be where a lot of your practice will occur, is designing logos. And it is a really, really highly requested service that graphic designers get asked of a lot. So we're going to be doing something similar in our class now. But before you start doing any designing, we got to gain some inspiration. I was talking in first period how graphic design has a very unique sort of expectation when it comes to things like copying, because there is a saying that goes back that maybe you've heard this, but good artists copy, great artists steal. There's an asterisk on that, of course. What we're going to do here is gain some inspiration from some logos that you guys enjoy or that you can think of, and we're going to use that to influence the next part of this discussion. The main idea through this part of the assignment, this kind of generating ideas phase of the design process, is we're going to come up with a message to communicate before we ever touch our graphic design software. You have to have a clear little bit of planning, some notes taken before you start doing any type of visual work. So it is 1:56. What I want you guys to spend about 10 to 15 minutes doing is going on places like Pinterest or just Googling around for logos that you like, okay? Logos that you think are cool, logos that you're familiar with. There's a bunch of them on my Firefox page right here, right? There's the Firefox logo itself. We got Google Drive, Google Translate, YouTube, OneNote. This is the thing for TSA, Gmail, Outlook, Canvas. Tons of logo options right here that are all communicating something even when you don't realize it. So I believe, big asterisk on believe, that Pinterest is unblocked for your guys' computers. Pinterest is my favorite site to gain design inspiration. You can kind of see the style that I like to go for, at least with the textures here. But we can just search for logo examples. You're going to get a lot of the big ones, but you're also going to get a lot of some abstract ones of things that you've not heard of. Hey, that looks familiar. We did something like that. Interesting. Okay. So what I want you guys to do now is, can someone check if you can go on Pinterest real quick for me? You can, it lets you in? Okay, thank you. Because it's not worked in the past. What I want you guys to do is spend about 10 minutes looking around Pinterest for logos that you think are cool. You can start with ones that you know, like sports teams or brands that you're a fan of, or tech that you're a fan of. Like, start with what you know and then kind of discover what you are also interested in. Pinterest is a great resource because a lot of different graphic designers create the same thing we did with mood boards on a site like this. Okay, sorry, I'll quit yakking. So 10 to 15 minutes of finding some logo inspiration before we start moving on to the next portion of the day. So I'm gonna close the Zoom room currently, and we'll get back in at 2:15. Okay? Is everybody clear on what I'm asking? Any questions? Cool. All right, have fun. I'm gonna see my pearly whites over here while I adjust this camera. Okay. Okay. It's a process here in graphic design. All right. So what I'm going to do, this is going to be a little bit different. This is, let me do this real quick, actually. Oh, we are recording. Perfect. We're definitely live. What we're going to do here is start thinking about the next stage in our logo design project. I'm changing up the Zoom room in a sense that if you look at the projector behind me, I mean, up by the front of the room, let me unfreeze it. There we go. A little bit of setup, a little bit of stuff going on here. So the way that this is going to work is I'm going to record this for posterity's sake, for reference sake in the future. But I want you guys to first look up at the projector screen as best you can. I'm also going to show the Zoom room, so you'll be able to kind of see from a different perspective as you're viewing here. We got a 2-cam streamer sort of situation happening. But I want to show you guys an important part of this next stage in the logo design process, which is something called shape language. It's a little bit understanding what we're trying to communicate, but I'll give you a quick demonstration right here. So let's see how well you can see the Sharpie. You can't barely in the Zoom room, but you can see it on the main screen. Okay, so logos, without even realizing, you guys may be thinking, these logos are making you think something, even if you don't realize it, right? So this exercise, I want you guys to trust me for a second. There's no wrong answers. What is that? Triangle. It's a triangle. What is a triangle communicating to you? I heard Doritos. I heard some other stuff. What else did I hear? Upside down. Upside down. Yeah, it's not in the typical triangle sense, like what we would think of like that. Okay, good. All very true. All right. What if I add 2 more triangles? Fish. Fish is a big one. Okay, what else are we communicating here? Meat. Huh? Meat. Did you say you? Meat. Oh, meat. Okay, yeah, meat for sure. It is one. Okay. I'm gonna add a couple more triangles here. This is entirely built out of triangles for the most part. The point of this is to show you that by building these things out of simple pieces, it'll start off, sure, as a triangle with not a lot of detail or communication. But as you add more information, sticking to the basics, you can start to communicate something different. All right. So like, let's do another one. What is this? Circle. What does it communicate? Frisbee. Frisbee from the top view. Okay. What else does it communicate? Earth. Earth. Okay. All right. What about now? Egg. Egg. What else? At. Okay. Huh? Solar system, right? What about now? I. Exactly. It's all built out of just whether it's circles or curves. Every shape has its own set of language and communication that comes with it, even when you don't realize it. I was not thinking when I was drawing. I was honestly going to see what you guys were coming up with as I said it, because I know that you can tell that shapes have expressions and language. So if we show the Zoom room here, it's going to be the example that we built out of the triangles and then the circles right here. This is very strange. I haven't done it like this before, so we're giving it a shot here. The next part I want you guys to consider, okay? Before you start doing any logo design, you need to have or any design in general for the most part, you have to have a clear message that you're trying to communicate. And the clear message that will help you kind of find your way in this logo project, you want to ask yourself something like what, oh, I can't even spell. Good thing I make pretty pictures and not pretty words. What do I want? Okay. What do I want people to think of my logo? We'll just stick with people to think for now. What do I want people to see first? And then finally, how do I want to say it? Okay, here's your Zoom room example. Let me get it all in frame here. These are the 4 questions that I'm typically asking myself when I'm presented with a client's Outlook, or if a client says, hey, I want you to make me a logo, I'm gonna ask them some types of questions like these. Okay, what do you want out of this logo? What do you want people to think of this logo? What do you want people to focus on first? And then finally, how do you want to say the message that you're trying to communicate here? So your guys' job right now is to start thinking about what you want your logo to communicate. I'll give you some examples on my screen here. Let's take a look at just the Pinterest board that I had pulled up. Okay. Let's see. Let me find some different examples here. Okay, let's look at these right here. What are these logos, even though they're the same, just different variations? This is also in the Zoom room if you would want to tune into my projector screen again. What are these communicating to you? There's no wrong answer. We're just thinking about vibes, brain feelings. There's some psychology in here. I'm not a psychologist, but there's an aspect to it. Huh? At, all right. A modern world needs connectivity. It's kind of what at is associated with. What else are you guys noticing? Minimalism. Not a lot going on for sure. Okay. Let me hear from one more. What else are you guys noticing? You have your hand up or are you just stretching? Rishi? Oh, your hand up or stretching? Okay. Gotcha. Oh, sorry. Tegan, right? Okay. What are you noticing? Yeah. What is telling you drink or liquid? Yeah, like a liquid drop right here. I also could see that the colors being something like fruity or sweets, because they are very saturated. There's a lot of color there. That's a really good observation, because I don't know what this logo is for, but you're seeing that based on the decisions that they made. Okay, keeping all those in your brain, kind of put them in the little hamster bucket. Happens in the front of your forehead, right? I've never said that before. I was just making it up. Anyway, let's find something else here. Give me something else. All right, let's look at this one. A similar approach. We haven't even looked at a graphic yet. What are these logos communicating with you? Or to you, I mean. Yeah, Zahid. Merchandise. Why do you say merchandise? He says made in. Sure. Something manufactured. All right. What else, Camille?
Motorcycles.
Why motorcycles?
Kind of looks like Harley.
Yeah, it's hard. Okay, looks like another logo. That's definitely something to consider. What else are you guys noticing based off of this logo or compared to the other ones we just gave an example of? Hearing from the same folks a couple times. Fernando, what are you seeing on this one? There's no wrong answers. Yeah. So the shadow and the depth, that's on purpose, typically associated with things with weight, right? Size to them. That's good. I'm gonna do this one more time. I mean, find one. I'm looking for a specific style. Let's see if I can find it. Come on. It's got to be in here somewhere. Come on. Okay, let's look at this one. Let's just open the image in a new tab. Okay, third and finally, what is this logo communicating to you? Zahid, I've heard from you. I want to hear from Dylan.
Nature.
Okay, what makes you say nature?
It's like the sun, like mountain.
Mountainous.
Outdoors.
Yeah, looks outdoorsly. Okay, perfect. What else are you guys noticing about this logo in particular?
Sportswear.
What is it?
Sportswear.
Yeah, sportswear, typically associated with the outdoors. Makes sense. Okay. And then did you have your hand up on the, oh God, no, you're just checking. All right, one more. I want to hear from one more person. Am I missing somebody up front? I want to get you guys out. One more. What else are you guys noticing? Maddox or William? You notice anything?
It's colorful.
It is colorful, yeah. So the reason I'm doing this is to show you the same idea that all of these different shapes and the combinations of shapes and colors, there are a ton of aspects to consider when you guys are creating your logos. And that's why it's important to have a message before you ever start designing. All three of these separate logo examples each had a meeting where they came up with a plan of what are we trying to say? And that what are we trying to say is the driving question that moves you through your logo design process. And that's the next step I want you guys to work on now. So your job, I'm gonna turn on my camera real quick and stop my screen share. Okay, if you're in the Zoom room, your job is to answer these 4 questions about the logo that you're going to design. Okay, you wanna ask, what do you want? What do you want people to think when they see your logo? What do you want people to see first in their logo? And then finally, how do you want to say what you're trying to say? Does that make sense? Okay. Does anybody have any questions on what I'm asking currently? All right. So we're going to spend about 20 minutes or so answering these questions, and then we'll move on to the one of the last on paper pieces before we get this into Illustrator. Sound good? All right, cool. I'm going to close this up. Thank you for listening.